under sunny skies. We're live on the campus of West Hempstead High School. Good afternoon. My name is Florival. Today, a conference matchup between the Sewanhaka Indians and the West Hempstead Rams. Sewanhaka enters this contest winners of 3 of their last 4 and their first place in their conference. Well, they're won thanks to number 1. That's Lindsay Montoya. She leads the teams in both goal and assist. She's the quarterback of this offense, and Erica Brennan will say she's the main reason why their offense can play at such a breakneck, fast-paced tempo. Other sideline now, we have the West Hempstead Rams, led in part by number 10, Ashley Merle. On the season, 16 goals. She can start away from the 12-meter. She's nifty. She can find her own shot, and she'll occasionally dish it off to her teammates for a goal. So first draw control just moments away. It's the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast.
Ready, defense?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the campus of West Hempstead High School. It's a Conference B3 matchup. The Sewanhaka Indians in their purple uniforms. They'll move from right to left. In their white and gold and black uniforms, the West Hempstead Rams looking for win numero uno on this season. They're 0-6, 0-2 in conference play at the moment. Let's get you some starters for both squads. First, we'll start with the visiting Sewanhaka Lady Indians. They're shored up on the attack line by Lindsay Montoya, Caitlin Dempsey, and Sabrina Orologio on the midfield. They'll run Jacqueline Vasquez, Gabriela Del Pierno, Marianella Jimenez, Elsa Jimenez, and Jessica Santoli. Their defense, Evelise Moreno, Gina Ragona, and Amanda Torres. And a senior leader in net, number 13, Victoria Castle, one of the best in the B3 conference, as they'll quickly move it across from left to right. As the West Hempstead Rams will settle into their offense, the head coach for the Sewanhaka Lady Indians, Erica Brennan, in her 4th year as the varsity head coach. Previously, she was a stone toss away at Kerry High School, where she spent 2 years as the junior varsity head coach. And now for the home West Hempstead Rams, 0-6 on this season, but not a team short on talent. They start 4 9th graders and a pair of 10th graders on the attack line. Samantha Freigen, Melissa Kosick, and Brianna Grogan. The midfield line, very talented. Ania Jones, Katie Lynch, Erin Guerrero, Ashley Merrill, and Taylor Fryermuth. The defense, relatively young, but great potential going forward. Kim Velasquez, Kelly Walsh, Nina Boria, and the goalkeeper, only a freshman, Taryn Squisarino, and the head coach is Tracy Hutt, as she looks to guide this team towards its first win on the season, and conveniently it would be their first win in conference play going forward. And the officials for this afternoon's contest, Joe Scaranato and Noel Hauser. It's a beautiful 61-degree day, as the song would say, nothing but blue skies, 10-mile-per-hour winds. As that fast up-tempo offense is Orologio in the 8-meter arc. Stoppage in play. This is the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast. My name is Stefan Florival. Sewanhaka enters this contest 3-3 on the season. They're first in the B3 conference, tied for first with 2 other teams. They enter this contest winners of 3 of their last 4 as a free position shot for Orologio. In close, she'll fire it and deflected by Squisarino. Good save early on as she was bare one-on-one with the very talented Sabrina Orologio.
Get back! Down and run! Just don't try to check it now!
But the Lady Indians, 3-3 on the year. They dropped their first 2 before winning 3 of their last 4. Their last contest, a stellar 16-7 victory at home. And for the West Hempstead Rams, they're 0-6 on the season under the direction of Tracy Hutt. But she's a coach where this school doesn't necessarily have a junior varsity program. So what she has is a mixture of upperclassmen and younger players new to the game of lacrosse, learning to find their way. And not new to the game of lacrosse is Ashley Merrill. She controls on the far sideline. She leads this Rams team on the season with 16 goals and a shot fired top shelf. And we have our first score of the day. It's a 1-0 lead. Rams jump out quickly early on top. They lead 1-0. Coming into this contest, this Rams team, they'll probably look to slow down the ball. Their offense, but they like to work it methodically. They like to push the ball up the lacrosse field. They like to work and get into their sets and settle for that shot. They're a hard-working team, but on the other sideline, you have a team where you'll see them running the entire afternoon. That's the Sewanhaka Lady Indians. They're basically the Showtime Lakers of high school girls lacrosse. They like to push it up and down the field. You'll see number 5, Katie Lynch, you'll see number 1, Lindsay Montoya lead the charge. She'll be joined by Sabrina Orologio. Both players, 15 goals on the young season as the draw control being vied for by both squads. Just about a couple ticks under 22 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Sewanhaka will look for their first goal of the day on their second offensive position, outside on that 12-meter fan. Controlling it now as they look to dump it down close in the crease, and Sabrina Orologio, goal number 16 on the season. We're knotted up at ones. 21:33 to go in the first half. Orologio's a sneaky player. She got behind the defense, found the crease, and put it top shelf. As a great job by Orologio. Only an 11th grader, one of the most talented players on this Sewanhaka team. Last year didn't play on the lacrosse team, suffered an ACL injury. That's why you'll see her sporting that right knee brace. Didn't play on the lacrosse team last year, and that should just speak volumes. Missed a complete year of lacrosse, and already one of the best players on a thriving high school Long Island girls lacrosse team. So we're knotted up at ones. West Hempstead winning the draw control. That'll be a big key for them, keeping possession of the ball. In close, looking for a lane. It will draw a flag. Aaron Guerrero, good job breaking down the defense. She'll have a free position shot from the right hash, 8 meters out. Here's Guerrero looking to regain the advantage for the Rams. Here's Guerrero. She tries to go top shelf. Good job following the plane of that shot as Victoria Castle in cage. Quickly swings it upfield, and Orologio has it at the top of the box, looking to quickly move it to the offensive zone. They'll pull it back down, and they'll settle back into that offense as Sabrina Orologio will control on the far sideline. Quite possibly the best Dodger on the team, in the words of head coach Erica Brennan, as we're now 20-13 remaining here in the first half of play, as the shot fired out of bounds towards the near sideline, not a play. We're knotted up at ones at the moment. Both teams getting free position shots from 8 meters out. Quickly into the offensive zone now. Here's Mariana Jimenez. Swings it behind the case, Orologio. Getting in close on that 8-meter arc. And I believe it will be a cross-check on the West Hempstead Rams. So we're looking at another free position shot about straight away, 8 meters out. Here's Caitlin Dempsey looking to do some damage here early on, looking for a 6th goal on the season. Dempsey looking for a righty shot. She'll fire it. Deflected off of the chest protector by Taryn Squisarino. The freshman, stellar early on. stoppage in play as there's about 19 minutes remaining here in the first half of play. My name's Stephen Florival. You're watching the afternoon live cast on MSGVarsity.com. The Sewanhaka Lady Indians and the West Hempstead Rams, a big B3 conference matchup. Coming into this contest, West Hempstead is 0-3 on the season, 0-2 in conference play. They can pick up a victory today. They'll quickly catapult themselves towards the middle ranks in that B3 conference standing. With a head of steam as Katie Lynch took it from the midfield line all the way to the inside the crease, but it's checked out of her lacrosse stick. And looking to clear the ball now, as the West Hempstead Rams regain possession of the ball. They enter this contest winless on this season, but you wouldn't know that if you attended one of their practices. One of the biggest strengths of this West Hempstead team, their overall team attitude, is in close and a great shot there. That was Erin Guerrero. She had the second goal of the day. 18-13 remaining in the first half. It's a 2-1 West Hempstead advantage. And West Hempstead High School has two nice events coming up in May. May 13th is class night. Beginning at 7 p.m., students compete in different events with the hope of becoming the winning grade. Then on May 17th at 7 p.m., it's the West Hempstead Spring Concert.
Let's go, Irene!
So as I alluded to earlier, West Hempstead is winless on the season, but you wouldn't know that if you attended one of their practices because the upbeat and positive attitude surrounding this West Hempstead squad, a team whose motto is work hard, play hard, have fun, and that's what they're doing. They're having fun up top early on because they hold a 2-1 advantage. And they control the ball on their defensive end of the field, moving from left to right. On a beautiful sunny day, roughly 60 degrees, that shot makes it all the way on cage and deflected by Victoria Castle into her stick. And a high arcing pass is over the head and out of bounds, so possession will go back to West Hempstead.
Vicky, we have time.
Sewanhaka opened its doors in 1929. It's actually an American Indian name, which translates to the island of shells in English. So here's the very talented Ashley Merrill from about 12 meters away and inching in closer at the 17-minute mark. Great feed in closer. Guerrero looking for goal number 2, deflected and turned away. Rolling out of bounds, both teams close to the ball. And the referees, who they award possession to, they'll swing it over, and it's back towards West Hempstead. Here's Merrill in close, diminutive in stature, but you'll notice she's hard to put a finger on. Very quick, very fast, and in the game of girls lacrosse where you can't cross-check, she's hard to stay step for step with. She's one of the senior leaders on this team, 3 seniors in total for the Rams. They start 4 ninth graders, and that experience is something that head coach Tracy Hutt has pinpointed as a point of emphasis where they want to get better at a hurry. Tracy Hutt's squad doesn't have a junior varsity squad, and what they'll do, they'll set up practices where they'll have the upper echelon players. As Ashley Merrill looking for a bouncer, skying for that one and deflected, turned away, rolling behind the cage on the end line. And with 16:01 to go in the first half of play, West Hempstead will turn it over to the Lady Indians as they look to move quickly and get into that fast offensive style. As you'll see, some long-range passes, and that one is over the head of Rachel Pellis, and we'll start the other way. Here's Katie Lynch. She'll swing it over to Merrill on the near sideline. Merrill being triple-teamed at the moment. She'll look to get one on the crease. Lynch unable to come up with it. The goaltender Castle draws a double team after scooping up that ground ball. Castle, really a senior leader on this Lady Indian team. A relatively inexperienced defensive squad. Offensively, they've got a ton of talent. They're moving it quickly. And a bounce shot. That one was roughly 14 meters out, and it's a goal and a score by Melissa Kosick. 15:01 to go in the first half of play. We're knotted up at 2s. And a reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll be joined by Mr. Frank Viteretti, the principal of West Hempstead High School. Principal Viteretti stresses creative and critical thinking skills, ethical behavior, and work ethic as his three most important areas of education. That Sewanhaka offense right there, you had Melissa Kosick, who put home their their second goal of the afternoon. But they're led in large part by Lindsay Montoya, who, if you're looking for a description of her talent, she's quite possibly the tip of the spear for this offensive team. And a good job. She's changing planes and going low as the freshman Taryn Squisarino turned that one away.
Keep her in front of you, Jessica. Keep her in front of you.
Here's Erin Guerrero, already a goal on the afternoon. She's been aggressive early on, creating her own shot. She has 2 shots on the evening. She'll go to that 8-meter arc, draw a triple team, and swing it behind the cage towards X. Erin Guerrero, coaching staff would say she's a little inconsistent, but she's got raw ability and the best stick skill on this Ram team. She excels at having great patience. She's the quarterback of this offense, as you'll witness right now. She's just methodically working with it, setting up the offensive set. Stoppage in play now as we have a 2-2 score. Melissa Kosick, the latest goal. Erin Guerrero before that had a goal for the West Hempstead Rams, and then Sabrina Orlogio before that tied the game up at 1. We've had 2 ties, both teams 2 goals apiece. No back-to-back goals early on in the afternoon. As Brianna Grogan will start off from the left hash mark on that 8-meter arc, free position shot. And what did you know? Victoria Casso, she's there once again to turn it away. Early on, Sewanhaka wants to push the pace, and they've got a 3-on-2 advantage. Here's Sabrina Orlogio on the left side. She'll look to cut it back. Nothing doing, and she finds a lane now, moving towards straightaway. Head deke, shot deflected off of the helmet of Squisarino. Good save there. She went low following the ball. Good vision the entire way by the 9th grader. Sewanhaka on the season has been a feast or famine team. They have 3 wins and 3 losses. In their 3 losses, they've given up 50 goals and have scored 20 goals. All teams in all 3 losses had double digits at the halftime break. But in their 3 wins, they put up 41 goals and relinquished 20 goals. In those 3 wins, no one scored double digits, and opponents averaging 7 points when the Lady Indians are victorious. Right now, the game is tied up at 2s. Ashley Merrill controlling at the wheels for the Rams straight away. This Rams team, they like to push it fast pace as they'll move it in close and losing the ball. It appears there will be a cross check at the 12:04 point in the first half of play. My name is Stefan Florival. You're watching the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast. We're on the campus, of West Hempstead High School. B3 conference matchup. It's been a treat thus far. It's a 2-2 score between the Sewanhaka Indians and the West Hempstead Rams. On the right sideline is Kosick. She'll work with it and pull it back down. Yes, Kosick, and she fires one. And that one's a score, the 3rd goal of the day. Sewanhaka, their first lead of the day. They lead 3-2. Back-to-back goals by Kosick. 11:27 remaining here in the first half of play. The Indians striking for back-to-back goals as they now hold their first advantage of the day. A correction. It appears that goal was off the stick of Caitlin Dempsey. So Dempsey adds on to her stat line on the season. That was goal number 6 on the year. And that draw control is flung back into the offensive zone for Sewanhaka as Erin Guerrero at that face-off position with Marianella Jimenez. Asked the coaching staff, about Marianella Jimenez, She's only in her sophomore year, a 10th grader. They said, quite frankly, she's got star potential. She will be a star. She's an offensive-minded midi. She can create her own shots, and if it wasn't for the stellar efforts of her teammates, she'd be a player featured more frequently on the offensive end on the field. Erin Guerrero's been featured offensively, and she's moving it now from left to right for the Rams. She's in close, and she'll get one under the reach of Casso. We're knotted up again, 3-3, 11:05 remaining in the first half of play. Guerrero has 2 goals on the afternoon. Both teams going tit for tat, 3-all score. And a reminder, you can log on to msgvarsity.com for all your boys and girls lacrosse news, features, and highlights. Tuesday is our boys lacrosse rankings, and Wednesday is the girls. msgvarsity.com, your home for everything lacrosse. Stellar showing of lacrosse here in the first half of play. Sewanhaka 3-3 on the year. The West Hempstead Rams, they're hungry for win number 1 on the year. They're showing that top-notch effort early on. Here's Ashley Merrill. She's been quiet thus far early on. She'll move it in close, draw a slide. Scamper around the cage, 0-degree angle shot. It appears it ricocheted in the cage, and it's a goal. Back-to-back goals for the Rams. 4-3 advantage. They lead here in the first half of play. Want to see some great action photos from today's game? Well, of course you do. So log on to msgvarsity.com and click on the Photos tab. Today's photos will be uploaded by tomorrow afternoon. Relive today's moments with great action photos only on msgvarsity.com. Merrill tallying her 17th goal on the season on that try. Appeared to be a 0-degree angle shot. When Merrill plays, she can make the impossible possible, and that's what she did on that shot. She's really come into her own this year. She's one of the few seniors on this team. One of 3 seniors, actually, on this squad. Coaches feel they can ask her single-handedly to win games. She displayed that great quick stick on that possession. And the Rams hold a 4-3 advantage. And I want to personally send a shout-out to the media advisor from Sewanhaka and West Hempstead. Both Louis Aragon and Angel Christodoulou help their students provide msgvarsity.com with great content that you see on the website. So Angel and Louis, thanks for all that you do. My name's Stefan Florival. You're watching the msgvarsity.com afternoon livecast. Sewanhaka has a distinguished Model UN program. In 2009, the team took home overall Best Delegation, which is the top award on the international scale at the American University Model United Conference. It'll be another draw control thus far early on. It's been relatively even, maybe a slight advantage to the West Hempstead Rams. And that's what they want to see early on from Tracy Hutt's squad. They've got to get possession of the ball, eat that clock, capitalize on those opportunities they get when they can get a free shot, and more importantly, keep that ball out of the stick of all the Sewanhaka Lady Indians on the field, as they can score in a hurry, scoring over 13 goals per game. Sewanhaka quickly moving up the field. There's Lindsay Montoya, the talented attackman. She'll look to get it started straight away. She's in close on that 12-meter arc. She'll swing it back around, and Caitlin Dempsey will get a feed in close. And it appeared the call was a shooting space rule. Girls lacrosse here, you cannot impede a shot by putting your body in direct trajectory of the ball. So it will be 8 meters away. It'll be a shot by Kim Velasquez. Velasquez shoots and scores. The 4th tie of the day. We're knotted up at 4s. 9:14 to go here in the first half of play. Want to see the best high school lacrosse in the tri-state area on demand? Well, tune into MSG Varsity Interactive IO Channel 614 and point your remote to Lac Central. There, you'll find the top game and top players in the tri-state area. Lac Central only on MSG Varsity Interactive IO Channel 614.
Come on, Sewanhaka, let's go!
And excuse me while I catch my breath, it's been a breakneck pace. We're tied for the 4th time. Both teams back and forth. Knotted up at 4s. As West Hempstead is giving Sewanhaka everything they can handle. And it appears it will be a cross-check on Aaron Guerrero. A little bit too chippy on that play. So West Hempstead will relinquish possession over to the Lady Indians, who are a very talented offensive team playing that run-and-gun style. Their motto is move the ball as fast as you can and let's play together. That offensive aggression in full force. That one will roll towards cage and an easy save by Squisarino. Looking for an outlet player, and she'll fire that towards the far sideline. We're tied up at 4s here in the first half of play. We're on the campus of West Hempstead High School. It's the MSUVarsity.com afternoon live cast. Riding hard on this clear attempt is West Hempstead as they're trying to force a turnover, but a little bit too eager on that play as they're coming from behind, trying to dislodge that ball from the stick of Nia Jones. We have a couple ticks over 8 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Even contest, tied up at 4s. The last damage done by Kim Velasquez of the Lady Indians. Looking to do some damage of her own was Ashley Merrill, but she thought better of it and pulled it back down. Now on the far sideline, here's Aaron Guerrero. Little head deke, spinning in close, firing off the post, ricocheting towards the top of the offensive or straight line. Nia Jones will swing it back in, and the offense will settle in once more. We're tied up at 4s here in the first half of play. Beautiful sunny afternoon. Couldn't ask for better lacrosse weather. Guerrero on the left point. They'll get into a 3-2-1 set. As Guerrero methodically just cubing and directing traffic now at the 7-14 point in the first half of play. Ashley Merrill, she's been quiet this far. She's been drawing a lot of defensive attention from the Lady Indians, and the Lady Indians are led on defense by a relatively stellar goaltender, Victoria Casso. A year ago, she was an honorable mention All-County, as that one will roll behind the cage. Honorable mention All-County. Coaching staff feels she's the best goaltender in the conference is right there. She's showing off her defensive prowess, turning that one away and dishing it towards midfield. Long-range pass, good accuracy. They quickly move it up. Orologio running before she can get possession. Regains possession. She'll move it into the offensive end. Here's Lindsay Montoya. Head on. Shot. Deflects off the post. And turned away by Squisarino. That ball hit every position of the post. No goal. We're still tied up at 4s. And Merrill will dish it upfield. Both teams going blow for blow early on. Tied up at 4s. And we mentioned earlier Victoria Casso, a stellar goaltender. She's also an AP student and a high-character player, a player who started off her lacrosse tenure as a defenseman. A couple years ago, the team needed a goaltender, didn't have one. Didn't embrace the position at first, but the coaching staff said her high character just shined through. She kept us in games with her great play, and she's a player who wasn't afraid to be great. And that's why she's been the goalie since the freshman year, and that's why she turns away that shot. A great look on the free position chance, and Castle having none of it. You'll notice she's relatively diminutive in size. That goal, 6x6, she barely fills up the cage, but she's very quick and agile on her feet. And that's why opposing teams are having problems scoring. Early on, West Hempstead has 4 goals on the scoreboard. We're knotted up at 4s. Indians looking to move it the other way in transition. We have 5:15 on the clock, and Montoya is in close on the crease. Pulls it back, cranks it, connects. Montoya, goal number 5 for the Lady Indians, and they have their second lead of the day. They lead 5-4, first half of play. Sewanhaka High School's notable alumni feature former Jets quarterback Vinny Testaverde, four-time Olympic gold medal winner Al Orter, and the winningest high school football coach in New York tri-state area, the late, great Howie Votes. Vinny Testaverde also winning a Heisman Trophy at the University of Miami, so a ton of prestigious alumni from Sewanhaka, as West Hempstead will start their offensive possession. They trail 5-4. Erin Guerrero quickly trying to put an end to that. She'll get in close and draw a slide, and still working with it on the near sideline. Merrill on the right ash. The young West Hempstead Ram team giving Sewanhaka everything they can handle and more. As Erin Guerrero will move towards X, she'll circle the crease and quarterback the offense. A couple backdoor picks at the top of that 8-meter arc. Looking for an outlet shot. Good defense there by the Lady Indians. Good job calling out the slides as they'll quickly swing it upfield, as you'll see that fast-paced offensive style. Sabrina Orologio's quickly trying to move with it. Orologio's in close. Here's Montoya. Back-to-back goes. Not on this possession. She'll fire it high over the cage, out of bounds on the far sideline. We have roughly 3:48 remaining here in the first half of play. My name's Stefan Florival. It's the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast. Sewanhaka trailing for several points at this game. They lead the West Hempstead Rams 5-4 there in the first half of play. Montoya, very talented, very great stick work, as she'll head deep and she'll go glove side and score her second goal of the day. Back-to-back goals from the do-it-all senior attacker. And it's a 6-4 Sewanhaka lead. West Hempstead's a relatively young squad. Mentioned earlier they don't have a JV squad, so it was the responsibility of head coach Tracy Hutt to instill the basics of lacrosse. And you'll notice, if you've ever seen a women's lacrosse stick compared to a male's lacrosse stick, that the pocket is shallower than the male lacrosse counterpart. The pocket isn't as deep, so it's harder to cradle the ball, harder to do shifty stick work move. So for head coach Tracy Hutt, she had to work hard at teaching the fundamentals, holding the stick, using proper footwork, scenario instructions. And early on, it's been great stick work, as West Hempstead trailing 6-4, but offensively they've been putting on a show here on the campus of West Hempstead High School. As Lindsay Montoya will direct traffic from X and initiate offense as they'll look for their third consecutive goal. Orologio back to Montoya. On the crease, back to Orologio. Dead on shot, nothing. Squisarino having a strong first half of play. As we have a stoppage in play. West Hempstead was running the other way, and it appears it was a cross check. So early on, we have Katie Lynch going both ways on the offensive and defensive side of the field. She'll just bring it in close, unimpeded towards cage. As a shot deflected out of the stick of Melissa Kosick, looking for goal number 2 on the evening. And the referee screams out 2 minutes, and we have 2 minutes to the halftime break. It's a 6-4 Sewanhaka lead. The scoring started out early on. West Hempstead jumping out to a 1-0 lead. Sabrina Orologio will knot it up at ones. And lately, the last 3 goals scored by the Lady Indians. Casso goes low with that stick and deflects it behind the cage. So the hustle from the Lady Indians awards them possession. They have the last 3 goals on the evening. They trailed 4-3. Ashley Merrill scored her 17th goal of the season before 3 consecutive goals. One from Kim Velasquez, and a pair from the do-it-all attacker, Lindsey Montoya. So at the 150 mark, it's a 6-4 Sewanhaka Lady Indian lead. So Sabrina Orologio has a lean towards the cage. She's straight away on the right side.
One more time. Thank you very much.
And some discussion between Erica Byrne, the head coach for the Lady Indians, and the referee as to why stoppage was called on that play. So Orologio will resume possession when the play was stopped on the left hash mark on the 8-meter arc. Her defender placed 4 meters behind her, and Orologio will have a shot just off point, right side. Tried to go glove side on the freshman goaltender, Taryn Squisarino. As West Hempstead has a minute and a half to the locker room break to possibly tally on another goal. They lead 6-4. Behind the cage and appearing in front and scoring. Connecting is Caitlin Dempsey, her second of the day. They hang 4 consecutive goals after trailing, and the Lady Indians now lead West Hempstead 7-4. This West Hempstead team, they'll look to slow down this pace. They have a 26-girl roster, but several of those players not necessarily ready for the big game action, so they'll run roughly 13 players. So you'll see players such as Erin Guerrero go both ways. You'll see other players such as Katie Lynch put some effort on the defensive side as well as the offensive side. And Erin Guerrero, 2 goals in the first half of play. Why not a hat trick? She controls behind the cage. In close to Ashley Merrill. Merrill turned away by Casso. Victoria Castle stalemating the West Hempstead Rams here at the end of the first half of play. 1 minute even on the clock. West Hempstead trailing by 3 goals. Near side on that 12-meter arc. Here's Erin Guerrero moving behind the cage towards X. She'll dodge. She'll appear in front of cage. She was circling the crease. Trying to go top shelf before Victoria Castle would turn that one away. So she'll get a free position chance on the far sideline. 12 meters out. It's the afternoon live cast on MSGVarsity.com from the beautiful campus of West Hempstead High School. It's the West Hempstead Rams, the Sewanhaka Indians. Sewanhaka 7-4 advantage here in the first half of play. 40 ticks on the clock remaining in the first half. Half a minute to go now as the ball rolls loose towards the top of the offensive zone, and chippy play as Erin Guerrero would take a spill as she'll get up under her own power. So with roughly 30 seconds to go, West Hempstead will look to cut into this 3-goal deficit. West Hempstead will next be in action a couple days, 2 days actually, on Saturday. Another home matchup versus Great Neck North. That'll be another B3 conference battle for the Rams as they'll settle down into their offense. With 10 seconds to go, they've got to move it quickly. Here's Guerrero in the paint. Loses the ball. Lynch will lose the ball. Roll behind the cage, and that's how the first half of play ends from West Hempstead High School. It's a 7-4 Sewanhaka Lady Indian lead. We'll step aside momentarily for the halftime break. Sewanhaka, 3-goal advantage as they head to the locker room. And Principal, we now have the pleasure to be joined by Principal Frank Vitaretti of West Hempstead High School. Beautiful day. What are some of the unique programs you have at this beautiful campus?
Well, one of the unique programs that we have at the high school is that many of our students are able to do high school courses and college courses at the same time, and they do it through Malloy College and through Adelphi College. So when students graduate here, they can really come out of West Hempstead High School with anywhere between 12 and 18 college credits. And a lot of our students take advantage of that.
And your students getting some exposure today on MSG Varsity. A beautiful day and a great matchup for your high school girls team. Can you just talk about the partnership between MSG Varsity and your high school?
Well, it's great that we have this partnership because we can showcase what a great high school we have, a great student body we have, a great faculty we have. I mean, we have exciting sports teams, and our drama club just did Beauty and the Beast. We have our great music department, so we're going to be able to show off all of our talent that we have here at the high school.
Intriguing indeed. It's the principal of West Hempstead High School, Mr. Frank Verderetti. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, second half of play coming up next is the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast. Sewanhaka, a 7-4 advantage as we're set to resume the second half of play. Sabrina Orologio, 1 goal. Lindsay Montoya, 2 goals. And Caitlin Dempsey, 2 goals. That's been the offensive output for the Lady Indians. Interesting stat on the season. Sabrina Orologio has been relatively the leader of this team in their victories and their losses. In 3 victories, she has 12 goals, and in their 3 defeats, 3 goals. So as Sabrina Orologio goes, so does the team, but thus far she has a goal. Couple looks in close, and the 2 teams will switch sides. Victoria Castle will take her position in cage for Sewanhaka on the left side, and West Hempstead will be protecting the cage on the right as the freshman Taryn Squisarino has been peppered by a multitude of shots, but she's held firm in her ground. West Hempstead trailing 7-4. And the first face-off, Erin Guerrero at the center X. She'll contend with Shayna Bruder at the face-off. The draw control. And that one's launched back into the offensive zone. Ball still loose before Erin Guerrero will scoop up the loose change and dish it upfield to Ashley Merrill. Here's Merrill straight away, 8 meters out, works towards the right, circles, fires, deflects off the chest protector of Victoria Casso, and rolls towards the far sideline. They're going to slowly work this first offensive possession of the second half of play. Erin Guerrero has done a stupendous job of directing traffic as she looked on the crease for a feed over to Melissa Kosick. Chippy play as Taylor Fryermuth will draw a penalty to start the second half of play. My name's Stephen Florival. You're watching the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast. West Hempstead trailing 7-4. This is their first offensive possession of the second half of play, as they'll get it in close and a feed sent behind the cage to Erin Guerrero. Melissa Kosick thinking better, thought she had a little bit of a lane, but she'll pull it back down, get it to Erin Guerrero. Extremely talented with 2 goals on the afternoon. They'll start straight away. It's Taylor Fryermuth looking for a jump shot. Turned away, and Victoria Casso will start the clear. Sabrina Orologio, good stick-to-stick passing as they'll move quickly the other way. They've got numbers. Orologio will settle it down, and they'll ease on back into that offense. Oh, in close. Here's Lindsay Montoya. Had a lane momentarily, but pulled it back down and moved it towards X. So Sewanhaka leads 7-4 here in the second half of play. On the left side, they'll move it in close straight away. Good defensive effort there by the Rams as Kim Velasquez turning her away, and Kelly Walsh there as well. Walsh deflects that one before it can make it towards cage, and the ball will roll towards the far sideline. Play resuming as Sabrina Orologio will fire that one, and it won't make it towards cage. It'll deflect as Lindsay Montoya will have it behind the cage at X. Stoppage in play as the referees tend to the aid of Erin Guerrero, but thus far, no scoring here in the second half of play. The first half of play ended with 4 consecutive goals from the Indians of Sewanhaka. Kim Velasquez, Lindsay Montoya, and Katie Dempsey. back-to-back goals. And it's a 7-4 Indian advantage. Here's the Rams moving from right to left. They'll start the clear and they'll swing it at roughly midfield before the ball is lost by Brianna Grogan. Orologio straight away to Montoya. Dead on, a frozen rope. It connects. It's an 8-4 advantage. 22:08 remaining. Sewanhaka up 8-4. They've doubled the West Hempstead Rams. That's now 5 consecutive goals. That's the hat trick for Montoya on the season. She leads the team with both 18 goals and 11 assists. That 1-2 connection, poetry in motion. Sabrina Orologio connecting to Lindsay Montoya. They've found each other time and time again this afternoon, and once more there. 8-4. Sewanhaka look to remain undefeated in conference play. We're on the campus of West Hempstead High School, high school girls lacrosse matchup between the West Hempstead Rams and the Lady Indians of Sewanhaka. Sewanhaka has taken control of the contest roughly at the 8-minute mark in the first half of play. It went back and forth. The game was knotted up at 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. And from that point on, it's been all Sewanhaka. Off the draw control, West Hempstead will come up with possession of the ball. Here's Nia Jones on the near sideline. Hounding defense by the Indians. Possibly too aggressive as they'll be ringed up for a cross check. So play resumes on the near sideline. And Ashley Merrill, she'll look to get back into the action. She'll swing it over to Katie Lynch. Lynch works towards the far sideline. In close and a head-on shot, top shelf. Samantha Freigen. The drought is over. West Hempstead gets on the scoreboard. It's an 8-5 Sewanhaka lead. 21:49 remaining in the contest. Plenty of lacrosse left. West Hempstead just slowly chipping into that lead. They stop a 5-goal run by the Lady Indians, as they'll look to get back-to-back goals. Here's a big draw control to possibly cut into that 3-goal deficit at the moment. Ball shuffled back into the defensive zone for West Hempstead, but it's the Rams up with the ball and moving into their offensive end of the field. Katie Lynch, head of steam on the far sideline, moving with it quickly, looking for an outlet passer. She'll get it in close. Guerrero, she would flick it on Cage, turned away by Casso. Appears Guerrero might have a free position chance here. Excuse me, no, they'll give possession back to Sewanhaka. Sewanhaka, they'll move with it quickly the other way now. A breakneck pace for the Lady Indians as they'll move it quickly into the offensive end of the field. Here's Lindsay Montoya one-on-one with the goaltender. They couldn't get a feed to her in close. And with the nifty stick work, Kaznina Boria moving into her offensive end of the field. Boria will swing it back. She's one of the young players that Coach Tracy Hutt sees a lot of potential and growth for this future Rams team. As a shot fired high and behind the cage and out of play. Boria, only in the 9th grade, starts primarily on the defensive end of the field. This Rams team starts 4 9th graders. Players who, if there was a JV team, they would see predominantly action on the JV squad. But they're being thrusted into the action, and they're responding relatively well thus far early on. They only trail 8-5 with 20:12 remaining in the first half of play. Excuse me, the second half of play. 8-5 the score on the campus. of West Hempstead High School. It's a beautiful 60-degree day. The weatherman called for 10-mile-per-hour winds. Relatively calm thus far in the afternoon as West Hempstead will swing over to the defensive side of the field. Rachel Palace with an extended control over Jessica Santoli. Dempsey with a pair of goals loses possession of the ball over to Katie Lynch, who will swing it up into the front court. Good passing by the Rams as Ashley Merrill, with an offensive mindset, will move it into the arc and swing it back out about 16 meters away from goal on the near sideline. Here's Erin Guerrero cradling, moving towards X. That's the position where she likes to call home. She'll start from behind the cage. She'll swing around the crease. She'll circle around, and she'll swing it off. She can dish it off, and she's an even better scorer. She has maybe the best stick skills on this lacrosse team. She's a quick dodger. Those the words of head coach Tracy Hutt verbatim. Methodically, she'll move it towards the left hash mark. Here's Guerrero, draws a slide, looking for an attacker in close. Katie Lynch was unable to come with it, but good hustle there by Ashley Merrill. Merrill has drawn a multitude of defensive looks from this Sewanhaka team. She's been double-teamed whenever she even thinks about dodging, and that's why we've seen Erin Guerrero explode for 2 goals on the afternoon. She has 2 of the 5 goals for this West Hempstead squad. Currently the score 8-5. Guerrero with 2 goals for the West Hempstead Rams. With 18 minutes to go here in the second half of play, as a 0-degree angle shot was turned away by Victoria Castle, and you'll see her first outlet is roughly at midfield, and Sabrina Orologio point guarding that offense and swinging it up into the front court, looking to add to that 3-goal advantage. It's 8-5. Lindsay Montoya with 2 goals. With 3 goals. She has a hat trick on the evening. Katie Dempsey has 2 goals. Emily Madrano with 1, and Sabrina Orologio 1 goal on this beautiful afternoon, and that's where we stand. It's an 8-5 score. Here's Montoya. She'll swing it to the far sideline now. To Jimenez, in close. She was looking for Santoli, and that one, she couldn't get a lot of velocity on that shot, as that shot just barely made it towards cage, and an easy save by Taryn Squisarino. Sewanhaka relentless in their ride as they're chipping at that ball, trying to get possession of the ball as the stoppage in play, as it appears Caitlin Dempsey was a little bit too aggressive. She'll take her position 4 meters away from Nia Jones, as the referee will start up action here in the second half of play. My name is Stefan Florival. You're watching the MSG Varsity Afternoon Livecast. Great matchup thus far between the West Hempstead Rams and the Sewanhaka Indians, as Nia Jones will take it the full length of the field into the offensive zone before losing possession. And back over to the Lady Indians. Here's Orologio, near side to Dempsey. Fast break opportunity. They've got 4-on-3 numbers. Dempsey will pull it back down. She didn't like the look she was seeing, so they'll settle into that offense. On the cross-crease pass, deflected, and now West Hempstead will be heading the other way. Here's Kelly Walsh. She'll just fling that one to Merrill at midfield. Merrill's in the open field, and this is where she can use her wheels. She'll attack the 12-meter arc. Straight away, moving towards her right, looking for a shot. And the shot deflects off the helmet of Castle. She loses sight of the ball. And the rest will give it right back to Sewanhaka. Orologio has done a great job at catching those outlet feeds at midfield. You're looking at roughly a 50-yard pass into the stick of Orologio. Nifty stick work. As in close on the crease is Santoli, and she fires a rocket top shelf. That's the 9th goal of the day. Sewanhaka leads 9-5, 15:21 remaining in the second half. Scoring in the second half at a less frequent pace. My name's Stefan Florival. It's a matchup between the Sewanhaka Lady Indians and the West Hempstead Rams. We've seen 3 goals through roughly 9 minutes of lacrosse here in the second half of play. First half of play, both teams came out of the locker rooms fast and furious. They both came out and tallied a 4-all tie before Sewanhaka would end the first half with 4 goals. Lindsay Montoya would tack on her 3rd goal of the day to open up the second half of play. Samantha Freigen would add on the 5th goal to make it an 8-5 score. And just there, as you witness, Jessica Santoli making it a 4-goal lead for Sewanhaka. They lead 9-5, and they'll move it quickly into the zone. And Montoya will bounce one, and they've doubled up West Hempstead. Sewanhaka, a mere 5 seconds after adding goal number 9, adds goal number 10. They have doubled up the Rams. They lead 10-5. 14-22 remaining in the contest. How's that for Lindsay Montoya? She's had a stellar 4-goal afternoon, known predominantly for working behind the cage and setting up her teammates. But right there, the frame of mind to see that it was an unsettled situation, advance it quickly, and she was one-on-one with the freshman Taryn Squisarino. So that now gives her, on the season, 19 goals. And fans, if you want to see the best high school lacrosse in the tri-state area on demand, tune into MSG Varsity Interactive IO Channel 614 and point your remote to LAC Central. There, find the top game. There you'll find the top game and top players in the tri-state area. LAC Central, only on MSG Varsity Interactive IO Channel 614. Want to see some great action photos from today's game? Log on to msgvarsity.com and click on the Photos tab. Today's photos will be uploaded by tomorrow afternoon. You can relive today's moments with great action photos only on msgvarsity.com. And right now you're watching the MSG Varsity Afternoon Livecast. This is a great contest, starting to get away a little bit from West Hempstead. They trail 10-5, but early on out of the gates it was a back-and-forth affair, and then Sewanhaka just flexing that offensive muscle here in the second half. They have 3 of the 4 goals scored in the second half. It's been Lindsay Montoya. She has 2 goals in the second half. That equals her 2-goal mark in the first half of play. And Jessica Santoli would tack on her 7th goal on the season. So the 3-3 Lady Indians, they lead 10-5. And I want to send a shout-out to the media advisor from Sewanhaka and West Hempstead. Both Louis Aragon and Angel Chris Todalou help their students provide msgvarsity.com with great content that you see on the website. So Angel and Louis, thanks for all that you do. So Tracy Hutt giving her West Hempstead team a little bit of a pep talk on the sideline. This is a team where they're 0-6 on the season, but they're not going to hang their heads. They trail by 5 goals here in the second half of play, but a lot of fight in this Young's Rams team. Relentless. They've been scrapping all afternoon on the clears, on the rides. Defensively, they trail by 5 goals, but the future looks bright for this West Hempstead team. They started 4 ninth graders. And with 4:21 to go here in the second half of play, there's 4:21 of hard-hitting action still to go. 14:21, excuse me. So Aaron Guerrero will look to get this draw control for the Lady Rams. Guerrero came out of the locker room breaking with a fury. 2 goals in the first half of play, also tacked on an assist. They'll redo the draw control as a procedure penalty. Ball deflected towards the offensive end of the field for Sewanhaka. Caitlin Lynch will pick up the ground ball, and she's being hounded on the far sideline as a sea of purple. Sewanhaka all over the ride. A great poise by the Rams as they move it into their offensive zone. Here's Ashley Merrill. playmaker will dish it on the far sideline. Here's Kosick. She'll move it towards X. Back to Lynch, straight away. 12 meters out. On that 12-meter fan and inside the 8, here's Ashley Merrill. Here's Merrill circling the crease, firing one. That one deflects back to her, and it rolls in the crease. And Merrill has her second goal of the day. Here come the Rams. They trail 10-6. Excellent job by Ashley Merrill staying with that shot. Her first attempt was thwarted, and the second would find twine, as Ashley Merrill has 2 goals on the afternoon. And that brings her season total up to 18 goals on the year. This Rams team, they have a pair of goal scorers with goal tallies in double digits. That's Erin Guerrero and Ashley Merrill. Both players consistently, game in and game out, relied upon by their team to do a bevy of the damage offensively, and his Erin Guerrero looking to add on to that Ashley Merrill goal as they'll set up their offense, and Merrill will move towards X behind the cage. She'll circle around. Sewanhaka will play back in a zone defense, not trying to run step for step with Merrill. Merrill's looking for someone to swing it out to in front of the cage. Excellent job by the Indians protecting the paint. Ashley Merrill doing an excellent job being patient, just circling back and forth. Here's Merrill in close on the crease. Back foot shot was turned away by Casso. And at midfield, it's Sabrina Orologio again. She'll take that one and move it quickly into the offensive end. She's flanked by attackers. Inside of the fan and pulling it back and settling into the offense as Orologio directing traffic and moving it over to Montoya, who's been the playmaker this afternoon for the Lady Indians. We have 12 minutes to go in this contest. Back foot shot by Orologio deflected. 50-50 ball rolling on the field. And the Rams will pick up that 50-50 ball. And on the resumption of play, Taylor Frymuth will begin 4 meters ahead of Sabrina Orologio. Ball moved towards the offensive restraining line before another whistle. And once again, that will give a 4-meter advantage for the Rams. So Taylor Frymuth will keep it moving. And into the offensive end of the field as Sewanhaka holds a 10-6 advantage. Second half of play, Lindsey Montoya 2 goals. Ashley Merrill doing the latest damage on the scoreboard. Caitlin Lynch will start from the right side. She'll draw a slide. She'll look to inch closer into the crease, and she'll move it behind the cage towards X. Sends a feed the way of Ashley Merrill, who looked to bounce one into the cage. Nothing doing. Back to Lynch. Lynch, overhead shot. That one couldn't find twine, and it rolls out of bounds behind the cage. Erin Guerrero closer to the ball for West Hempstead, and they'll keep possession of the ball. 10:22 remaining in the ball game. West Hempstead trailing 10-6. My name's Stephen Florival. You're watching the MSGVarsity.com afternoon livecast. Some more great high school girls lacrosse action between the Sewanhaka Lady Indians and the West Hempstead Rams. And ramming her way in is Erin Guerrero, and she's unable to connect on that one as she drew the ire of the goaltender in that shot. That one deflected by Victoria Casso again. Senior leadership between the pipes. Casso, a stellar job this afternoon. West Hempstead came out furious. They still only have 6 goals on the afternoon after scoring 4 in the first 10 minutes of lacrosse. Sewanhaka is roughly on pace to equal that 7 goals given up per game in victories margin we mentioned earlier. In victories, they've allowed 7 goals. In defeats, they've allowed roughly 14 goals. And here's Guerrero behind cage. She'll move it towards X. Looking for Lynch. Close. Great feed. Guerrero to Katie Lynch. Back-to-back goals. A 10-7 deficit. 9:34 remaining in the contest. Lynch has her first tally on the afternoon. Here come the Rams, full force, back-to-back goals. They trail by a mere 3 goals. The fight of this young Rams team shining through on this beautiful afternoon day as they're home for this contest versus the Sewanhaka Lady Indians. They'll look to get this draw control and inch closer to tying up this contest. Ball loose in the air and rolling towards midfield. Scrum for the ball, still being vied for by both squads. And Taylor Frymuth, she's up with it now, and the Rams have some momentum. The last 2 goals, trailing by 3. Frymuth will lose her footing as the ball will roll toward cage. So a stoppage in play. She was inside of the fan, roughly 10 meters away, so she'll have a free position chance. She'll have a a free lane towards cage. So this is an opportunity for this West Hempstead Rams team. They can tack on a try here. They can cut this deficit to 2 goals. The last time they trailed by 2 goals was at roughly the 6-minute mark where they trailed 6-4 in the first half of play. Right now, second half, they trailed 10-7. Back-to-back goals by Ashley Merrill and Katie Lynch. Taylor Frymuth will get a free look on cage, and Victoria Casso, the senior leader between the pipes, her Sewanhaka team needs a stop. Here's Frymuth. She'll fire that one, and it won't even make it towards cage. As defensively, great effort collapsing by the Indians. Both squads with 3 goals apiece here in the second half of play. It all started with Lindsay Montoya would net the hat trick. Sam Freegan will respond for West Hempstead before Jessica Santoli. And Lindsay Montoya would go back-to-back for the Sewanhaka Indians. West Hempstead, a back-to-back of their own. Ashley Merrill, Katie Lynch off a beautiful feed from Erin Guerrero behind the cage. She's had a stellar afternoon. She's had done a good job on draw controls. She's quarterbacked the offense. She has 2 goals. She has a pair of assists. And she's been the leader for Tracy Hutt's squad. As in traffic, just flicking it into their offensive zone. And Taylor Frymuth was unable to come up with that one. As Sewanhaka will just look to clear that ball. And a good stick check by Ashley Merrill dislodges the ball and puts it loose on the deck. West Hempstead will pick up possession of the ball. Chippy play by both sides. Who wants it more? This young West Hempstead team, they didn't hang their heads. They trailed by 5 goals a mere 4 minutes ago. They've cut into the deficit. They trail by 3. And attacking now, and they'll move it towards that arc. And Samantha Frygan will look to get it started before Sewanhaka will turn it around the other way, and now they have numbers. Here's Lindsay Montoya in close, looking for a 4th goal. And noticing that the clock is to her advantage. She has a 3-goal lead with 6:40 to go here in the contest. Senior leadership there by Montoya, as she'll just pull it down and establish the offense, looking for the smart shot. Montoya on the near sideline. Over to Dempsey. Dempsey will circle the cage. She'll come out in front and appear with the 11th goal of the day. That's Caitlin Dempsey. Her 3rd goal of the day, the hat trick. Sewanhaka leads West Hempstead 11-7. 5:41 remaining in the ball game. My name's Stephen Florival, and you are watching the MSG Varsity Afternoon Livecast from the beautiful campus of West Hempstead High School. A back-and-forth affair. It's been an offensive showing by both squads. A couple of highlight players is Aaron Guerrero and Ashley Merrill, all for the West Hempstead Rams side. And on the other sideline for Sewanhaka, they've had the stellar play of Lindsay Montoya, who's done it all. The quarterback of this team, she works from behind the cage, and she's not only created for herself, but she's got her teammates involved. And in large part, that's why they hold an 11-7 advantage and seem primed to advance to 4-3 on the season. Lindsay Montoya shores up a really talented offensive unit for this Sewanhaka team. They have the young ability of Maria Nella Jimenez, a future star in the words of head coach Erica Brennan. Sabrina Orologio, she hasn't been featured in this game, but that's because of the explosion of Montoya. Orologio, on the most part, will be a player who can create her own shot. She's got a nifty moveset. That's the best way you can say it. She can shoot that three-quarter angle shot overhead. She can go submarine. Coach is working with her, though, on taking better shots. But just the pure raw ability of this offensive unit for Sewanhaka, flashing this afternoon. They're having a great afternoon. They've tallied 11 goals. They lead 11-7. As they have 6 different scores on the afternoon. Caitlin Dempsey just recently netting the hat trick with her 3rd goal, as Orologio will work with it straight away. They'll move it back to the offensive zone. Orologio unable to come with that, but into the stick of Dempsey. Had the latest goal for the Indians. 3 goals on the afternoon, and Orologio will start straight away from the 12-meter mark. On the far sideline, his Madrano had a goal early on the afternoon. Good save there by Squisarino. Here's Nia Jones on the near sideline. She's the single woman clear. She's done an excellent job at clearing that ball for the Rams. Here's Ashley Merrill. She's at the top of that fan and will move it inside the 8. Merrill, she's small and she's crafting her way in. She fires a shot high, but you see right there the problem with Merrill, she's so hard to keep a stick on. She's hard to stay stride for stride with. And she's able to weave her way inside, but that one just a tad high. His accuracy a little bit of an issue here in the second half for the Rams. And Hustle will get the ball over to the Indian side as they'll look to move it into the offensive end and kill some more clock and move on to victory number 4 as we have 4:15 remaining here in this highly contested contest. Here's Katie Lynch on the far sideline. She'll move in the paint. It's only a 4-goal advantage. Still plenty of time for the Rams. In close. A shot deflected off of the stick of Merrill. Did it find its way in cage? Referees are waving it off. No goal. Castle will just fling it towards the near sideline, just looking for an outlet person. And tripping will be the call as West Hempstead, the guilty party. So Sewanhaka will look to clear this ball and just eat up as much of that 4-minute clock as they can as they hold a 4-goal lead. And the Sewanhaka Indians, they came into the season looking to have their first ever playoff berth in school history for the girls lacrosse side. Well, if they can hold on to this contest, they'd be 4-0 in conference play and a huge stride to achieving that goal. And that goal not the only goal for this Sewanhaka squad. Head coach Erica Brennan had her team before the season jot down individually things they'd like to achieve on the year as a way to motivate her players to achieve better. Orologio unable to come up with that feed, and it will be ricocheted into the cross of a Rams defender. As the score currently 11-7 as we inch closer to the final gun between both these squads. The second half has been controlled in the most part by Sewanhaka. At one point, West Hempstead made a run. They trailed 10-5 before Ashley Merrill and Katie Lynch would net back-to-back goals. Katie Dempsey would stop the bleeding, and right now, Sewanhaka leads 11-7. Here's Ashley Merrill. She'll swing it in close, and a good attempt there off of the stick of Brianna Grogan. Victoria Casso, stellar between the pipes as she'll work outside the cage, clearing that ball. We're under 2 minutes to go here in the contest. They'll move it quickly the other way. Here's Lindsay Montoya, head of steam, 1-on-3. She'll keep it moving, and she'll pull it back down and circle that arc. Lindsay Montoya will work towards that X position as the clock and scoreboard are in her favor. As we now have 1:40 remaining on the game clock. West Hempstead trailing 11-7. Sewanhaka looking for their fourth win on the season and their fourth win in conference play. Nia Jones is up with it quickly. So West Hempstead has to move with some passion now as they trail 4 goals with about 80 ticks on the clock remaining. Ball still loose. Both teams going back and forth for possession. Possession over to the Rams. 1 minute on the clock. They trail by 4 goals. Here's Katie Lynch. She'll look to start the comeback. She'll control it on the right side. Lynch in close. That was about a 15-degree angle shot. She couldn't squeeze that one into the cage, and that one will kick out of bounds. Referees determined that was off of the foot of Sewanhaka, so we have 46 seconds on the clock now. So West Hempstead will start on the near sideline now, and they'll swing it quickly into the stick of Aaron Guerrero. At controls on that 12-meter arc, circling towards straight away. Guerrero with free reign to run the offense, pull it down and take her own shot, or swing it off to a slashing attacker. 30 seconds. And a great save there again by Victoria Casso. So once again, it looks like it will be the 4th win on the year. And Victoria Casso, stellar between the pipes, holding the opponents under double digits. 8 seconds on the clock now. Sewanhaka will pull it back down. Here's Dempsey. Fires one on cage. Turned away. And that's how this one will end. West Hempstead, they fought tight to the vest, but they dropped this contest. And Sewanhaka, they're 4-0 now in conference play and 4-3 overall on the season. So that will do it for us here from West Hempstead High School. Today's final score, the Sewanhaka Indians 11, the West Hempstead Rams 7. For producer Sol Steinberger and videographer Jen Uline and the entire MSG varsity crew, I'm Stephen Florival saying goodbye from West Hempstead.